Speak to yourself like you're speaking to your bestie. Because I set you up. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for dropping by. I'm Ashley and this is She's in Sports. This video is all about imposter syndrome and how to work through it. First things first, you want to recognize and acknowledge that imposter syndrome does exist. Imposter syndrome is very common and it does affect many people. You are not alone. Just acknowledge the fact that this feeling is present, and that is the first step to conquering it. Tip number 2 is to create a brag file. This is where you'll maintain a personal document or folder where you'll record your achievements, your milestones, positive feedback, and then you can revisit it whenever you're feeling any sense of doubt to remind yourself of your successes. In my brag file, I keep cool things that I've done as an intern or when I worked in collegiate sports. I keep things that people that I genuinely care about have said about me, positive things that people that I care about have said about me. And every now and then when that feeling of imposter syndrome creeps in, I will sit back, I will look at it and just remind myself like, yes, I'm supposed to be here. There's nothing that no one can tell me to make me believe otherwise. I'm supposed to be here. I'm not an imposter. Tip number 3 is to create a support squad. Form a small group. When I say small, I mean small. A small group of people that you trust their advice. You also give advice. You don't want it to just be a one-way street. And you both can provide some type of mutual reassurances to each other. My support squad consists of people that I know I'm going to be honest with when they ask me questions, and I know that they're going to be honest with me when I need to go to them for support or questions. Tip number 4 is to seek feedback. Regularly ask for feedback from your colleagues or your supervisors. This can provide a more balanced perspective, so it's not just you overthinking, underthinking, what have you. In my meetings that I have with my managers or my supervisors, I'm always very transparent when it comes to how I feel my performance is, what I expect for myself. Like many other people, there's no tougher critic of Ashley than Ashley. And I let my manager, my supervisors know these are my thoughts when it comes to this. I may keep my mouth shut on a lot of things because I don't care to pretend that I know everything, but if it's one thing I know, it's Ashley. It's how Ashley feels, it's what Ashley thinks. I know that. Tip number 5 is to challenge negative self-talk. Pay attention to those moments where the negative feelings creep in. When do they occur? You know, what triggers those negative thoughts? And you want to actively challenge those thoughts. So replace those negative self-talking points with positive self-talking points. And yes, this may be easier said than done, but honestly, I have my iPads over there, but in my iPad, I have the woman that I want to be. And yes, who I want to be has some of the qualities of who I currently am, but to really step into that person, I look at those and say, she is not shy when it comes to advocating for herself. So I can't be shy when it comes to advocating for myself if I want to reach that goal. And so I have to constantly challenge that negative self-talk that creeps in. Those moments when I'm thinking, how the hell did I get here? No, I got here because of my hard work. I got here because of my work ethic. I got here because I deserve to be here. And that image of who I want to become, it's written, like, she's done this, she accomplished this. I set my goals out and I make sure, like, I may not accomplish all of my goals. Let's just say I have a list of 10 goals. I may not accomplish all of those in one day. If I do one thing a day that puts me closer to accomplishing those 10 goals, I am far better off. If you've made it this far in the video, drop a boxing glove in the comments so that I know that you're there. Another thing that I do is I practice daily affirmations. So I listen to YouTube channels like High Frequency Guru, Dylan James. I also read Psalms when they're appropriate. So Psalms when I'm feeling down, Psalms when I'm feeling weak, Psalms when I need to feel loved. You know, like I literally will open up my Psalms book and just read it. And honestly, honestly, I even go as far as I'll take a glass of water and I'll read the psalm into the water and I'll drink it. And something about that just makes me feel like I'm drinking in the word, the positive words. And I just feel better, you know? It's all about one of my favorite shows growing up was Smart Guy, and I remember the placebo episode. And it may not even be a placebo, but like it might also function as a placebo. Another thing that I do is listen to positive, uplifting music. I try not to listen to the low vibrational music. Now, sometimes I will pull out some, I don't want to name someone and then someone sends it to them and they're like, wait, I make what? Yeah, I mean, you just make what you make. You know, I make sure to incorporate NDRE, Beyonce, Kamaya, Victoria Monet, La Russell, artists like that who are speaking to the type of person that I want to be. I want to be powerful. I want to be confident. I mean, I am confident, but you know what I'm saying. Tip number 6 is to practice self-compassion. I know a lot of us may be lacking that at times. You want to treat yourself with the same kindness that you would treat a close friend. Whenever you face a challenge or make a mistake, speak to yourself like you're speaking to your bestie. Remind yourself that it's all a part of the learning process. Like literally, we're put on this earth to learn. All of these other things that like make society what it is are man-made things. I tell myself when we meet God at the pearly gates, guess what? He's not asking us about week 13, Ravens versus whoever. Like that's not gonna be part of the conversation. It's just not. Like none of this stuff actually matters. It's cool to attain and to live out these feelings. But remember, before we are human beings, we are spiritual beings. Before we got this meat suit, we had this soul, we had this spirit. And that's what matters. In the times where I'm so hard on myself, just chill. Just chill. Because none of this essentially matters. None of it matters. The cars, the apartments, the houses, the vacations, none of it matters. It's like I said, it's fun to experience. And in our experiencing things, we must learn a lesson. It's inevitable. We must learn a lesson. So just chill, relax. Don't give someone else more grace than you would give yourself. It's all good. Tip number 7 is similar to the support squad, but it's just a little bit different. It's a little remix. This is building your support network. This group of people are people that I work with. People who work within the industry that I work in. Because let's be honest, as much as I can tell my therapist, who I enjoy speaking to, I love getting things off my chest, she doesn't work in professional sports. So there's just some things that she doesn't understand. And honestly, when I'm having some conversations with her, I'm just like, dang, she doesn't get it. And she doesn't get it because she doesn't work in this space, you know? And even when I'm having conversations with family and friends, I'm like, dang, they don't get it. Because they don't work in this space. The same way I have a friend who is a police dispatcher. I wouldn't understand most of the stuff that she experiences. Why? Because I've never been a police dispatcher. So having a support group, a support network of people who understand, they understand the long hours, they understand the no holidays, they understand that you have to sacrifice this to do this, and that's something that you're literally working for something that is greater than you. Because most of the people who work within a professional sports organization, no one knows who we are. You know, I'm not putting on a jersey or tying up my cleats. I'm not doing these things. People don't know who I am. Sharing your experiences with others who can relate to you is very validating and reassuring. So don't give up on that. Obviously, don't be telling the option secrets or anything like that. Make sure you build a trust between people. One thing my dad taught me was never tell everyone the same thing, because if someone runs their mouth, you'll never know who said what. That's why whenever I tell anybody anything, I make sure to add something, take away something. So that way when it comes back to me, I know exactly who said it. And it's always so funny to me when people say, I didn't say it, it wasn't me. And it's like, but little do you know, it was. Because I set you up. It was you. It was you. And it's okay, but it was you. Tip number 8 is focus on learning and growing. One thing my therapist constantly reminds me, is that I am being paid to learn and gain experience. And when you think about it like that, it changes your perspective 1000%. By embracing your challenges as learning experiences, your whole mindset changes. The moments where you feel less than aren't necessarily threats to your competence. They're just not. So your shift in perspective can alleviate the stress of looking for perfect, having to be perfect, feeling perfect. Tip number 9 is to set up regular reflection time. A few minutes a week, or maybe more if you need more. Allot time to just sit back and think about the pros, the cons, what patterns that you're seeing, noticing. Track those over a period of time. One of my favorite things to do is to get my foot massager. I set it to 15 minutes and I'll go through different things like how could I have done this better? What could I learn from this? How could I have handled a situation that I've never been in before so that if it does arise again, I know how to stand up for myself, how to vocalize. I do my best not to let those moments define me. Now, if somebody else is trying to threaten your competence, that's a whole different story. That is not imposter syndrome. That is a toxic work environment. I said what I said. Lastly, tip number 10 is to seek professional help. As I mentioned before, I do have a therapist and I do see her twice a week. We're able to talk through situations. And I've definitely grown a lot since having her. If you are unable to afford a therapist, however, there are organizations like NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Also, you can call 411 and then ask for free or reduced therapy sessions. Exercising is good. Journaling is good. And I'm gonna leave you with this. Remember that when you are focusing on your problems, you are creating more problems. But when you focus on possibilities, you create more opportunities. That was it for this video. I hope you all are better equipped to fight through imposter syndrome, and I will see y'all next video. Bye.